Okay, so let's talk about something. Have you ever felt like you've got this rocket ship level ambition, but the launch sequence of, I don't know, a sloth? Yeah? You're definitely not alone. We're going to dive into the fascinating psychology behind the ambitious procrastinator. So, does this sound familiar to you? You've got these huge, mountain-sized goals. You can see the future so clearly. But when it comes to your day-to-day actions, it feels like you're just stuck in the valley. And what's the word that pops into your head? Lazy. And this, right here, this is the core conflict, isn't it? One minute you're imagining this incredible future, these massive ambitions. The next, you're struggling to even get started in the present. You want more from life, but you keep delaying those important tasks. Now, if you've been telling yourself, oh, I just don't want it enough, I'm here to tell you to stop. That's not the real story. The truth is way, way deeper. See, this feeling, it's not just some weird quirk you have. It's a real, recognized psychological pattern, and we call it the ambitious paradox. Yeah, you want more from life, but you struggle to move consistently in the present. And listen, if this is hitting home for you right now, you need to know this. You're in very good company. This is practically a trademark experience for high achievers. Okay, so to really get our heads around this paradox, we first have to do something really important. We have to challenge that story you've probably been telling yourself for years. It's time to just completely dismantle the myth of laziness. This is probably the single most important reframe you can make. That contradiction you feel, it is not a flaw. It's not a moral failing or a lack of willpower. It's a psychological pattern, a predictable one. It's just a specific way your brain is wired to operate. So what does that even mean, a psychological pattern? Well, think of your motivation like a really specific key for a really specific lock. It's not about a lack of discipline. You have the drive to open doors, for sure. It's just that your brain is wired to only turn the lock for a very particular kind of effort. So the question is, what does that key look like? Let's get into it. Okay, so it all starts with this incredibly powerful, totally unconscious process that's running in your brain like 24/7. Think of it as your own personal efficiency algorithm. So here's the deal with your brain. At its core, it's an energy miser. It hates wasting energy. It's not that it's allergic to work, it's allergic to wasted work. So it's constantly running this little cost-benefit analysis in the background on pretty much everything you do, asking one simple question. Is the juice here really worth the squeeze? And before your brain gives you that green light, that rush of motivation, it runs through this internal checklist. First up, is this effort efficient? Like, is there a smarter, faster way to do this? Second, is the outcome meaningful? Is this actually going to move the needle on my big goals? And finally, number 3, is the reward clear? Do I know exactly what I'm getting out of this, or is it just some vague promise down the road? Now, if a task fails, this little audit, if the reward feels too small, or it's way too far off in the future, or it just feels totally disconnected from your big vision, your brain just slams on the brakes hard. Motivation, poof, gone. And that's not laziness, you see. That's your brain's efficiency algorithm doing exactly what it's designed to do. But wait, it's not just about efficiency. There's a second huge piece of this puzzle that works right alongside that algorithm. And this is what we call the high-stakes start. And here is the ultimate, kind of cruel paradox, isn't it? The very same ambition that fuels you is also the thing that can completely paralyze you. Your high standards basically turn the starting line into a minefield. That desire you have for a perfect outcome makes taking that first messy, imperfect step feel, well, terrifying. Which leads us to this massive insight. You delay not because you don't care, but because you care too much. Get that? Your procrastination isn't apathy. It's a defense mechanism. It's protecting you from the fear of not living up to your own massive expectations. So what happens? You wait. You're waiting for that perfect moment, right? The perfect idea, the perfect surge of energy. And why do we do this? Because, let's be honest, waiting inside that safe little bubble of potential feels a whole lot better than stepping out into the messy, complicated reality of an imperfect start. And here's the part that almost no one ever talks about. Let's look at where your energy is actually going. Long before you type a single word or, lift a finger, your brain has already been running a full-on marathon. It's been planning and worrying and visualizing and battling against those crazy high standards. It's the classic iceberg effect, right? Then not doing anything that people see on the surface? That's just the tip. What's underneath, what's unseen, is all this massive mental energy you've already burned through. So what looks like laziness on the outside is actually cognitive exhaustion on the inside.
Okay, so what do we do with all of this information? We make a really crucial shift in thinking. We stop treating this thing like it's some personal flaw we have to fix. Instead, we start seeing it for what it really is, a predictable framework, a system that we can actually learn to work with.
So let's just lock in the big takeaways here. First, remember, it's about efficiency, not discipline. Your brain is wired to avoid wasted effort. Second, your high standards make starting feel super risky. It's a feature, not a bug, of being ambitious. Third, your mind works way before your body does, so that laziness is often just mental burnout. And finally, your motivation is all about alignment, not obligation. It has to feel right, not just like something you should do. So really the whole point here is to understand how your mind works. That's the first, most important step. It's about stopping the fight. Stop trying to hammer that square peg into a round hole, trying to fix yourself. Instead, it's about learning the unique operating system your mind is running on, and finally starting to work with your own wiring. And all of that leaves us with the only question that really matters now. And this isn't a judgment, okay? It's a strategic challenge. Now you know why you work this way. So the real question is, how are you going to work with it?